Welcome back, boys, to the Lonely Road. Hopefully, you guys are having a happy new year. These clips are set to start unloading probably 10 days from now. But hopefully, you guys are going to have a happy new year either tomorrow, today, whenever you guys see this. It has been one hell of a week for me. One hell of 2 weeks. But things are finally calming down. Hopefully, everything's going good for you guys. And hopefully, things keep getting better because, goddamn it, it's showing one way. KJ, how's everything been for you?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been good. Well, at this point, when this airs, it'll be over the holiday, but we're taping it right before Christmas. So things are hustle and bustle. But things are good. Things are really good. Um, you know, what can you say?
Yeah.
We, if there's a lot of self discovery lately for me, um, I've been thinking a lot about the version of me um, that I want my grandchildren to remember. You know,
Yeah.
the the I'm with them all the time. I'm with them a lot, and it's overwhelming. There's meltdowns pushing every last button you have, and it's the the version of myself that I want to come forward, but I also want them to not, to be I want them to be who they are, but three of them together is a little overwhelming. So, creating that version of myself that I want them to remember, it doesn't have to be perfect, but the version that I want, um, that I that I want them to remember. That's been big on my mind lately. So, we decided to take that further and make a an episode out of it. The the version of myself that I want to be perceived as the one they'll remember feeling safe with. That's the important part to me, I think.
Yeah. Well, the entire idea of this episode I wrote down because you've told me a couple times, I believe in episodes, it might be from different people at different times. Sometimes everything fucking blends together.
Yeah.
But because I wasn't really given a guidebook of how to be a dad and wasn't really given a guidebook of how to be like 100% appropriate
Mm,
physical in the moment parent, the way I parent is very fucking different from a lot of people's perspective
mm.
because a lot of people would say I do it wrong because of how I look at things and how I changed how I do things and stuff like that. The version of me that they get is very very different than what a lot of parents are willing to fucking give. Or grandparents even like I obviously will probably be even more exaggerated in that circumstance. But so I'm happy that this is going up after Christmas because this is a plan I have and I'll lay it out here cuz these shitheads have already seen it. I plan on writing them a letter telling them, "Hey, thank you for being an amazing kid. Thank you for being a part of this thing even with all of the chaos and everything that has gone on. But here's your big present. This is what's coming. This is what we're going to do in the next coming year. But I also want to ask you, what's one thing I could do better for you? Is how can I change? How can I fix myself? How can I be better so that way you have a better life, a better circumstance? How can I do better for just you? Whether that's Nick or Maddie or Zoe or Bree, I want to ask all of them, how can I do better? Because, I'm not an all knowing, all seeing, omniscient God. I'm a man. So, how can I become the best version of this man that I am to be better and do everything better for them?
That's a gift in itself, asking your kids, what do you need? It wasn't done to you as a child, so that's something that you want to give your children. That's commendable. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's the version of you that you want your kids to remember. That's a decent version, in my
Like,
opinion.
I got this card, and I don't remember knowing if I covered this on one of the episodes recently or not. But I got this on Thanksgiving. It was sitting on my desk from Nick. And he said, "Dear Dad, thank you for being the person that thinks about me and Maddie and Ava before yourself. Thank you for being here, for thinking of me and being one of the most important things that I can hold on to." And that meant a lot. But I also I want to show them that, hey, dads or people that are in that place above you also is accountable to you. That accountability doesn't just go from you guys to me, it goes from me to you too.
Right. Yeah, that's important. It's important to show, the children that you are not perfect. It's important to show them that you, you know, you also are fallible, and but at the same time, when you do fall, it's important to do the apology and the cycle, and it's not perfection. That's not what makes you the version of you they deserve. It's not. You don't need to be perfect. But what you do need to do is make yourself a better person every single day. Like,
Yep.
show up, separate yourself. And I think for me, this is extremely important. Separate yourself from who you were taught to be, who you watched as you were growing up. Separate yourself from that person because it's really instinct. That's what you were taught. From the person that you want those kids to see, and what you want them to feel, what you wish you
Yeah.
didn't feel. Like you're actually asking your children what they need from you. You know, it might it's consistency. And it may be that it's consistency over intensity in one kid's case, but it might need that other kid might need the intensity of a situation, where you think that they need the consistency of something in a situation. So I mean, it could be um, you know something that your presence uh, is needed for that you're not aware of. Just any little thing, and I think is a really big gift that you're asking your kids what they need from you. That's extremely important, because I also, when my grandchildren get old enough to express it to me, and I always said I can't wait until they talk, because then they can at least tell me what they need. And I listen, but they don't always tell you in when they're toddlers anyway, in ways, and even when they're not toddlers, they don't always tell you in ways that it's
Makes
not direct
sense.
communication. Yeah, it's not always direct communication, and so you have to kind of dive, take the puzzle apart and be
Yeah.
able to decipher it.
So the first step that I kind of did once I like reinvented myself, because that's what I did. I
Yeah.
changed absolutely fucking everything. And in parenting, this is how I kind of went about it. There were two things that I wanted to look at and kind of go into fucking mindscape and figure it out. If you're a visual person, fucking write it down. But there's always going to be a list of the things that your parents did right. No matter if that's one fucking thing, like showing up after going to get milk, or millions of things, there's always a list. Give them the credit of these are the positive things that they did. And then to me, the more important thing was the things that I needed that I didn't get. Because it's not just showing up with a Christmas present. It's not just showing up with the gallon of milk. It's these are the things I was missing out on when I was depressed, when I was suicidal, when I was struggling with this, when I was struggling with that. Where did they need to step up, or where did I need them to be? So when my kids handle or deal with the same situations or different situations that cause those same feelings or emotions or whatever, how can I show up better for them?
Right. Right. It's it's so important, when you're trying to change the trajectory of shit that happens in your life. Breaking cycles is the big catchphrase, and it really is. But it doesn't require blame always. It doesn't always require you to say these things are abusive, because they may not have been. It's just that it's something you particularly needed something different, and whether your parent knew it and didn't provide it, or whether your parent had no idea that you needed something because you had no way of communicating that to them that they could understand. They couldn't get the undertones of what you were trying to communicate. Um, it doesn't always require blame. You don't always have to be angry or call things abuse when they're really not abusive. But it does require a lot of awareness to be able to break cycles in your life. And some of those cycles absolutely may be, uh, abusive. You may have been raised with yelling, silence, fear and emotional neglect, emotional abuse, physical abuse. That in itself is horrible to have to go through as a child. And that's when things like that happen to people, they that's the instinct that they grow with. That's the instinct that they have. So when things are chaotic and there's three of them, sometimes that instinct uh, kicks in, and you want to lecture or whatever, but those lectures are not what makes them remember. They always remember how you made them feel in a situation. That's what I remember, is how people made me feel throughout my life. So it takes a lot for people who come up a little more rough, that you have to stop. I mean, the medication that I take makes me stop. Um, and haven't felt many negative side effects to it at all. Coming back to the medication that I'm taking, it makes me stop because I'm very reactive, and that's one thing that I have noticed about myself. One of the first things that I had to come to terms with is that I'm very reactive, and it's not normal, even though it was normal in my childhood. Reactions,
Yep.
very strong reactions, were normal in my childhood. That's what I grew up with, and that's what I learned. But you can love your parents, and also choose better for yourself. You don't always have to place
And
blame to do
and
better.
just because you say I want something different or better
Mhm.
or more doesn't mean that you're not thankful that you're fucking here. It just
Exactly.
means that, hey, the things that you chose to do or the way that you react or the way that you did things fucking hurt. And like when you look at everything and you do this, it's not just laying out the big boundaries of like, oh, this is unacceptable. It's saying, okay, me being brought to the bar and my dad driving drunk while on pain medication at the same time, that is also a boundary I will not cross. It's saying all of them. It's not just the little fucking unspoken ones that you don't have to say. You have to say everything because you're retraining yourself of like, no, I am making positive decisions. I am making positive things here. But guess what? All of this negative shit that I'm still fucking falling into the hole of is still okay to fucking change.
Oh
It's
yeah, it's
okay to
absolutely.
fucking look at that.
It's so absolutely okay to look at that. It's okay to say, accountability is always okay. You always want to take, if you have a parent that you're able to communicate with, because there are so many that do not have parents that they can communicate with. You can't do this with those parents, those types of parents. You have a unique relationship with your mom where you're able to have those conversations with her. I didn't have that with my dad. I wasn't able to have a conversation with him like you're able to have a conversation with your mom, and that's a big difference in uh, that bond, or I'm sorry, that pattern with that parent, or breaking that pattern on your own. You know what I mean?
And like, so my mom's case is even weird when you look at it too. She had a very, very, some would say even toxic relationship with her mom because she provided one of those whole you have to appease me in everything that we do circumstance.
Mhm,
And when you look at a lot of single mother homes, that's exactly what it is.
mhm.
So
Yeah.
like a lot of the times my mom now looks at me, she's like, Zach, my entire guidebook of how to be a grandma was Nana.
Mhm.
And we've had this conversation of how that wasn't acceptable. So how the fuck do I do this?
Right.
And it's like, so it's weird because I don't know if this is normal or not. I'm now like becoming an intermediary between me and Katie and Bella when she has kids and my mom, of like how to compress all of these ideals of okay, this is how you do this. Because being overbearing as a grandparent isn't the fucking answer. Being seen and not heard as a grandchild is not the answer anymore. You tell my kids to be seen and not heard, they're going to flip you the bird and say, sorry, that's not how we were raised. Like,
Right.
that's not how this is going to work. Like, it's so weird. It's so weird to kind of like massage all of these things at the same time because it is so different. There is no guidebook on how I am doing whatever the fuck I am doing. It's weird.
Yeah, no, I, I had to ask myself, do I want the perfection? Do I want the control? Or do I want them to feel emotionally safe? And that's sometimes the balance you have, or the decision, even the split second decision you have to make as a parent, because, you know, it's or grandparent or full-time. I'm a full-time grandparent. I have these kids. My wife is the caregiver for these kids. She's blessed enough to be able to have these children when their parents are at work.
Mhm.
And in order for their parents to make a home, their parents have to work a lot. And so we have them in those times. And then we have our grandparent time. We make sure they have dinner every night. And then we send them home to their parents. That's on a normal weekday, Monday through Friday. So yes, we have them a lot. And so it's just as important to be, when you're not that kind of grandparent, when you have, it's kind of an opposite world in my world. You know what I mean? Because I am so, in their life. But what um, I want to know that not, I mean, obviously with me, they're going to know not everything is a constant calm. And with them, not everything is a constant calm either. They're tiny terrorists, to be honest with you. Uh,
Temper tantrum terrorists is what I've
yeah,
always called my
yeah,
kids.
absolutely. Absolutely. But they also deserve to see the repair. When I'm wrong, it's okay for me to be wrong. Obviously I'm not violent with them, but it's okay to be wrong, or to raise my voice a little too high. But I also follow it with, grandma, sorry that she yelled. It was in the moment, whatever the case, that they can understand. But I always bring it back to, if I see something in that interaction that I did incorrectly, I will apologize, because there's not a lot of that I got. You know
And
what I
as they
mean?
get older, like, so there's a cutoff, at least in my mind, and this could just be like pseudoscience of like how I've parented. But in between like 0 and 4, it's all kind of the same.
Yeah.
It just it's leaky, whiny luggage
Mm.
that is growing so fast that you can't wrap your arms around it, but also growing so slow that you can't realize time changed. But from that like 5 to 12 age period, if you do not apologize and show them problem resolving like steps equal or louder than the fucking situation you caused or what caused that reaction, they will never fully be able to understand exactly how to apologize.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. They have to see it with you. They model you. So instead of demanding that regulation from them, like, stop your, whatever you're doing. If they're out of control, they have to see that you're regulated. You have to come from a regulated place in order to expect regulation from them
Yeah,
at whatever point they're able to do that. And it's okay to show them where it's okay to show them you're not perfect, because nothing is ever
mhm,
perfect. It's just that you're doing your best to show your presence over a control in a situation. I was shown control. That's what I grew up learning. Now it's, yes, I want certain behaviors, but I need to kind of finesse the situation so that that's their idea. It's always,
e-
if everything's more palatable to anybody in the world if it's their idea, right?
exactly. There's two answers. Never, never. put your emotions into the fucking situation if it's not yours.
Yeah, that's hard. That's
Oh,
hard.
it's fucking impossible. But the other part of it is just as hard. And it's never appease Hitler in your house at all whatsoever. I am not raising fucking little mustachioed genocidal retards, and I'm not going to treat anybody, including my significant other, in the same way where I just tell them yes, I just give them everything they want, and just make sure that they don't fucking yell today. We're not doing this. We don't fucking yell. We're not fucking violent. We're not okay. This is not okay. This is not how we do things. And it was such a generational shift from when I left my ex that we don't fucking appease Hitler, that everything fucking changed. Life fucking changed.
Mm.
Because it's such a disparaging thing that most people don't genuinely understand is when these dudes say, "Oh, if mommy's not happy, nobody's happy." That's everybody in your fucking house. It's not just mommy. And if you make it just mommy or make it just your kid,
Yeah.
you're raising them to be a little shitbag. And you don't need a little shitbag running around your house that is literally a temper tantrum dictator. You don't need that. So show them the problem you're resolving. Show them that when you handle something, you're not fucking emotional. And if you are emotional, you fucking apologize with it, saying it just as loud because you need to hold yourself accountable.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You the repair is very important to teach them, because in life there's going to be a lot a lot of ripping apart, you know. So it's important that they see that and model that through you. It's showing up even on the hard days is important. But as a parent, full-time parent or grandparent, it's or aunt, uncle, whoever the hell you are in their life, as as who you, whatever you are in that person's life, whether you're full time or not, whether you have the FaceTime relationship with them until you can be with them, whatever it is. If you're out of line, teach them the apologizing without justifying, and the accountability by living that accountability. Showing up, and showing them that, and practice this when you're triggered, exhausted or overstimulated. Pause, even for 10 seconds. It's okay to pause. It's okay to pause. Nothing, just with me being so reactive and having such a reactive personality. But I'm not proud of the reactive personality. So it takes a lot for me to, these days it's more, I'm more quiet. I'm less reactive. Um, but it's not gone. It doesn't just disappear. You know what I mean? It doesn't just disappear. The medication that I'm on, like I was saying earlier, helps me to pause for that 10 seconds. Where before it was just a reaction. It wasn't, it was almost like I could not take that 10 seconds to pause and to think about what I was doing. It was just crazy.
And the weirder thing, as you grow as a parent and these kids are around you more often, and this is something weird that happened in my childhood and then kind of replayed itself as an adult. You want them to be able to see conflict and not assume the world is being nuked. I remember the first time that I saw my mom and Fa argue. That was her husband for the longest time and was my stepdad. I broke my hand. I think I was playing basketball at the time or whatever. And there was a small box.
Skateboarding.
Not
Was
that
it
one.
that was okay.
No, it wasn't that one. There was we were in Sandy Plains. There was a stack of 12-liter, not 12-liter, 12-pack boxes of soda sitting on the counter that were empty that needed to be broken down. But my mom didn't like the answer and response that he gave of like, "Hey, registration for the car is suspended. We can't drive the car. You have to go with somebody else in order to be able to get him to the doctor. He needs to go to the doctor." She didn't like the answer of having to go with somebody else. So she threw a fucking hissy fit. And Mom, I love you. We've had this conversation of that is not the way you handle this situation at all. But it also led to me when I looked back at that situation of like, I never saw that resolution. I never saw the apology. So, like, even if you are handling something in
Mhm.
front of your kids and you handle it incorrectly, or you handle it violently, or you handle it like in a way that is unacceptable, the apology is not just going and fucking having sex later on and saying that it's fixed.
That's true.
You have
Yeah.
to fix it as publicly as you fucked it up,
Yeah,
because
because
those circuit waves
Mhm.
of them learning how the fuck to handle that problem, they learn it from you.
Yes. They learn everything from you from the time they're small. They learn how to misbehave from you. It's mirrors of yourself. I watched before I, really started taking a look at myself. Uh like really with a magnifying glass. Like I've always been in the realm of self-improvement, but it was always self-improvement that made me feel comfortable.
Makes you feel good,
Yeah,
not
absolutely.
makes you look good.
Not that makes me look inside, but I can't do that. No, no, no. We're gonna go here. We're gonna look at something different. If this is making me feel a certain way, it's got to be negative. It's got to be negative, and it's got to be telling me that because I'm a very intuitive person. For whatever reason that is, I am a very intuitive person. So when and I didn't understand that when I was younger, and so everything that I felt seemed like a deterrent from a situation or a deterrent from, and it didn't necessarily need to be that at all. And so it's very important because they are. It's just oh my god, it was. Uh, I don't even know. It's crazy. It's nuts because I was able to look at myself in a certain way when you see another child, when you see a child's eyes looking at you because you've said something out of pocket to them, and you see that face, and you can't look inside yourself to say, "Holy shit, I just made a mistake."
Mhm.
There's something wrong. Because you're not always right, and they do need to see the retribution or the accountability outside of private time. If you disrespected, if I disrespected other grandma or you disrespected Bree, they need to see that. They got to learn how to put that back together. They need that piece of the puzzle in order to function correctly moving forward in life.
Exactly. And there's so much of a parody there that I don't think a lot of people grasp it. Is they want to make their relationships completely separate from what that family unit is. And in
Yeah,
some circumstances, I completely understand and respect that.
some
But you are
situations.
also modeling it for your kids.
In some
So
situations it has to be, like you growing up and a lot of the your brother things, and how that some of that was handled, that was detrimental, even
yeah,
though it was transparent. Some of those things needed to be kept more sacred, maybe, but maybe I don't know, you know what I mean, for you, who knows,
yeah,
uh but for it's just at this point when you have little someones in your life, you're that person's example, you know
yep,
the love, patience, resilience, even anger and misbehaving, that's they learn it from you. And it's never I'm 50 fucking years old. I didn't have children, and when I had younger people looking at me, I moved away and chose to focus on me. And it now at 50 years old, it's never too late to become that version of myself that all the kids deserved.
yeah. And here's a way to explain the generational thing that trickles down.
Mm,
Whether it's healthy or not in all situations, obviously nothing is healthy in all situations. But I remember this, and it showed me how to turn light into things very, very quickly. And it's something you did. We were at we pulled into the grocery store. This dude cut you off. and just started mouthing off. And you're like, I fucking own this county. What the fuck are you talking about? And you turned it into a fucking joke quickly. May not diffuse the situation in every situation and circumstance, but flipped it on its ass. Obviously, me being one of the few people that were in that situation, I've held on to that. That is my answer always now. It always has been, but like obviously that's probably where it came from. My mom is not one of the funniest people in the world. She is a very, very matter of fact and caring person because she's afraid of hurting anybody's feelings. So she is not quick to make a joke and make a judgment and kind of try and lighten the mood, even if it pisses people off. That is me. I am the one that kind of carried that on. And even I see that the other day when we had Ava up at the hospital getting her MRI and everything else. I jump into being a dad and making a joke about everything. And it's weird because I haven't been able to talk about a lot of the situations that have happened, but I could talk about this one. And I'm sitting there, Ava, literally the light of the past 5 years, carrying her as she's fucking sedated and loopy and fucking laying in my arms. I'm carrying her out. And I look at my ex because she has no idea where the fuck she's going. And she is so locationally retarded that she doesn't even know her left from her right. And I'm like,
I can relate.
I'm now used to Bree, who actually knows her left from her right. So I'm like, take a right at the end of the hallway. She's like, which way's right? And I'm like, oh my fuck. Okay, back to old wiring. Okay, take a my side. And she's like, I got you. I got you. I understand that. Because that's exactly how I would tell her to go anywhere. Take a my side. We're taking this exit on my side or your side. And then we take a your side, taking a nice left. And Ava giggles, even though she's fucking half incapacitated and I'm carrying her out of a fucking hospital. She giggles because, you know, she's getting it. She's understanding left and a right, sort of. And I chirp back with, yeah, you know, we really should have gotten you those hand tattoos that said your side and my side, because at least you could fucking grasp which side I'm fucking telling you to turn on, because this is a fucking hospital. If we take the wrong left turn, we're walking into an OR.
Or a morgue.
Or a morgue. I don't feel like seeing dead bodies today. We need to get the fuck out of here.
Me and your mother had one of those adventures. Anyway.
And then you even get to like people like Nick who do the same thing. Like the model that you have for these kids, if you can make light of things or the way that you model how to do things, they are seen. And I promise you they're seen, whether that's positive or negative, because it can be both. You have to teach them how to do everything positively, and you have to teach them how to work out of the negative, because if you don't, then you're sheltering them.
Yeah.
But yeah, can only shelter them so much, so you have to work on that too. It is such
balance. Yeah.
It is such a balance. It is such a parody, and god damn it, it becomes such a weird thing.
Yeah.
But it also works with laughing at yourself and kind of being lighthearted and working through those situations, because god damn it, telling her go a fucking my side and you should have gotten those tattoos so way you knew at some point, you know, becomes a benefit.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's never too late. Like in my particular, I'm 20 years older than you, so it's challenging. And you might say, you know, old dogs don't learn new tricks, and that's all bullshit. That's all you not wanting to become accountable for your bullshit. I've been sad for so long. I don't know what it's like if I'd be happy. Well, you know what? Okay. I get that feeling, absolutely. But if you have a little someone in your life, uh, you are that person's everything in this moment in their life, especially when they're very young. You know, through 18, when they're in your house, you only have that amount of years, and that's a drop in the bucket compared to how long, you know, typically they're alive for. So it's never too late to become that version of you that they deserve, and it's not about failing. Like it's not about if you do something wrong, it's not about failing. It's about choosing again to do something different the next time, so that you have a different outcome. Because you don't want to do things over and over and over like they were done to you, to create insanity and create another person like you had been created. You want a different thing to happen. And even though you may be showing up late, you have the opportunity to show up differently. And that's something that I'm embracing, is the opportunity to show up differently for people in my life. And sometimes it's not about just about the children in your life. Maybe sometimes it's showing up, being the best you, for a version of you for your partner, being the best version of you for your, your loved ones, for yourself, for your animals, just the way you
for your
treat
business,
people.
for
Mm,
everything that's around you.
yeah.
I posted this. I posted this last night, and I said it because honestly, this week has shown me once again that not because I'm fucking always right, but right a lot of the time because of how I handle things. But I posted this. It was this dude named Zach who like gives away money and tickets and like tries to bring light to the world. And I shared it and I was like, you're supposed to love the people around you and not just everybody around you, but everybody. If you treat everybody like neutral or hate, you're never going to bring light. You can't just bring light to one person and hate 99% of everybody else because you are a fucking drain. You have to teach everybody to be that light that you're around, because if you're not, dude, you're the one that's bringing people down. And I watched with all of the chaos that has gone on in my life in the past 4 years. I am so confused and I don't understand anything this week. I watched as I walked into that hospital waiting room. I watched my ex's face light up and I heard her say, "See, I told you daddy would show up because daddies show up always." And I watched Ava's face turn and light up because she knows her daddy shows up always. And she ran across the entire waiting room to run to me, and we went and sat down all by ourselves because we're a united front regardless. And she wrapped her arms around me and told me that she missed me so much and that she loves me and that she needed me there. And as we walked out, she said, "My daddy always shows up. My daddy will never leave me." And, being one generation away from a daddy who walked away and a daddy who never showed up, even when it was fucking easy, that's such a drastic difference to me that I know I made an impact.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's definitely a testament, bud.
Honestly, regardless of everything that's been said, everything that's been done, things that have been right or wrong at some point, that is such a generational difference. And it's not just my daddy didn't show up, my mommy's daddy didn't show up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that my grandma's daddy didn't show up.
Mm-hmm.
How many fucking years did I change just by showing up? Just by looking at my mom and at the time my girlfriend's mom, who ended up being my mother-in-law and one of the most obscene fucking people I've ever met in my life, and that's an entire episode all by itself. Looking at them in the face and saying, "No, I'm not going to be a weekend dad. I'm going to be an everyday dad because that's
Yeah.
what I deserve to be."
Mhm.
At 15 fucking years old. It was a decision that I chose 15 fucking years ago that dictated a response that I had 3 days ago, 4 days ago. That's insane.
It built
And
over time. Mm-hmm.
it speaks to exactly what the fuck we were talking about last episode. Is the things and the mirrors that you choose to
Yep.
look in right now and the decisions that you choose to make right now could absolutely have impact on just today. It could not fucking matter in the grand scheme of
Oh
things.
yeah.
But what if it does?
Oh yeah. What if it does? Even if you're late to the party, you're not behind. You're becoming. You're becoming that version of you that you wished, maybe in my case, wished I could have had the balls to be all along, but I allowed the world to trample me instead for a while.
And now you're here impacting and helping people change their lives. You may not have been able to show up to the party for yourself, but you're showing up for your grandkids. You're showing up for your partner's kids. You're showing up for my kids. You're showing up for all of these people that needed you at different times. You're finally able to show up and show them a different version of you that they needed then. Because the person that you are today, even if it is the person that they don't need, hey, you could work on yourself and become the person that they need, because it's not about you anymore.
Mm.
It's about them.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the point here. Yep.
Some days you have to ask yourself, how do I fix it? But the most poignant answer on how to fix it might not be from your fucking perspective. And you got to swallow your pride enough in order to be able to ask it. It's that significant other that, you yelled at and screamed at and hit for years that might actually be able to tell you the most poignant response that you might not want to fucking hear. It might be your kids who saw all of it, and you might not want to hear that response either. Or it may be you saying, hey, I've grown this much. I'm not my ex. I'm not this person. I'm not that person. I'm not 20 generations of generational dads who walked away to go get a pack of cigarettes and a beer and didn't show up tomorrow. It's me. How do I show up better? How more do they need me? Do they need me standing over top of their shoulder saying that they need the right? No, they fucking don't need that. Nobody fucking needs that. But how do you need me?
No, yeah. How can I be available for you? That's just when you're dealing with broken and you're looking to repair that broken, it's how can I best be available for you? Because it's not my point of view of what needs to be changed. If you want to repair, you have to look at the person that you wronged's point of view that needs to be changed.
And that point of view, those guidebooks on how you've handled those things every day in your fucking life, whether you remember it or not, it taught you how to react to those things subconsciously, and now you just act. You may not even remember them, but they gave you an impact in your life that changes and dictates how you react to the things that are around you now. That ghetto little shithead at fucking 12 and 13 years old that broke his arm and was in around bad people and everything else changed how I react today. But guess what it did? It also gave me the availability to kind of question myself and run back those questions and figure those things out. Because I was not going to make the same decisions that led me to where I was. So guess what? Do better for yourself, but also do better for the people around you. And if you have the balls, there's two questions you should ask. Not only ask yourself, what the fuck can I do better today? But ask everybody around you, not to be a fucking soundboard and just tell you you're doing everything perfectly. And ask them what you can do better for them. How can I be a better husband? How can I be a better dad? How can I be a better friend? How can I be a better partner in your life that helps you become the better version of you? Because not everybody can live up to the potential that they had at day one. But guess what? They can live up to the potential that they have now. So you should foster it instead of sequestering yourself, instead of secluding yourself and diminishing that light that they can be.
You can do it. It's a lonely road. We don't have to walk it alone, though.
Light the lantern, keep walking, because everything's shady. We'll see you fucking later.
Join us next time.